Hey, hey, hey. Jump up and shout, and let's go, Bills Mafia, let's go! Hello, folks. Welcome to season 2 of episode 30 of the GOAT series on Jeremy Hadler's YouTube channel. And I'm your host, Jeremy Hadler. And today I'm going to be talking about the greatest Bills player in franchise history up to this point in franchise history. I'm going to go over the rules here like I always do, which is choosing 5 candidates of who I think is the greatest Bills player of all time. And I do have an honorable mention, but what I look for in criteria-wise for these candidates is the achievements with the team, how they played with the team. How were they with the team on and off the field, and what were the stats with the franchise? Those are some of the things I look for key factors. And of course, we do honorable mention here in case. And of course, we do honorable mention, but we don't have guests on today. So we'll be doing honorable mention here, ladies and gentlemen. But let's start it off with my honorable mention for the Buffalo Bills, because Bills Mafia, I always love watching those fans and the Bills just entirely. I always find them as a fun team to watch. But honorable mention I got is Joe DeLamielleure. Yeah, you might not know him, but he was a fantastic player for the Buffalo Bills by playing 8 seasons for them. He was a 6-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, made the Bills Hall of Fame, made the NFL Hall of Fame, blocked for O.J. Simpson, who we're going to talk about in a bit here, folks. He was extremely durable. He was dependable, so when you needed him to make a block or you really need an offensive line to make a hole for O.J. Simpson, he was that guy. He was a fantastic run blocker and effective pass blocker too, so you need him to hold off for Jim Kelly, who we're also going to talk about a bit. He would hold off for Jim Kelly to throw a touchdown down the field and get the tutty. So Joe DeLamielleure, very unique player of his run game skills and his passing game skills. Very unique of his blocking in both those aspects of the run and pass. And he was able to disrupt the opposing defenses to keep the play going. And he rarely allowed his opponent to beat him one-on-one to disrupt the passing play or the run play too, folks. But Joe DeLamielleure, I think, has to get praise here, and I just like him a lot. Very unappreciated. I like to give respect to the offensive linemen for what they did, and he definitely helped O.J. Simpson's career. Next part on the list, I'm going to go with a Frank Gore pick here, which is Andre Reed. Yes, Andre Reed played 15 seasons for the Buffalo Bills. He's a Hall of Famer, 2-time second-team All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, made the Bills Wall of Fame. Stats here, folks. He had 13,095 receiving yards, 86 receiving TDs, and 941 receptions. Interesting fact about Andre Reed is he has his own field named after him, where the college he went to is Kutztown University. That's right near where my home is. So that's appreciation out there to give a shout out to Andre Reed of an interesting fact about him. But let's talk about his game here. He was highly durable and he was a tough receiver. So if he got banged by the safety, like Ronnie Lott coming in to make a play, bang, he gets hit. He'd come right back up and he's like, let's go. He'd be ready for the next play. And he was very dependent with Jim Kelly, who I'm going to talk about in a bit once again. He was a fearless receiver, and he was the over-the-middle guy. So if you're coming over the middle of a slant, usually, or a post route, is usually what his plays were back in the day. Always try to shake off defenders and get through it, or break tackles a lot was also another big thing. And after he made a catch, he would be very swiggle about it. He would juke out players, like I mentioned, would break the tackles. That was what he stood out to me about him. He was very good at that. And he's the Bills franchise leader in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving TDs. Definitely gets praise here for me. But Andre Reed, phenomenal player for the Buffalo Bills. Great player for them. Next player for me I got is a running back here for the Buffalo Bills. No, it's not O.J. Simpson. This is Thurman Thomas. Thurman Thomas played 12 seasons for the Buffalo Bills. Hall of Famer. It's a 1-time MVP. 2-time first-team All-Pro. 1-time Offensive Player of the Year. 3 second-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, made the Bills Wall of Fame. Got retired by the Buffalo Bills, number 34. His stats, folks: 65 rushing TDs, 11,938 rushing yards, 456 receptions for 4,341 receiving yards, and a total scrimmage yards of 16,279. What stands out about Thurman Thomas is he was a dual threat on the passing game and the run game too. So if you need him to do a dump off play, or you actually need him to do a wheel route or actually run a route, he'd be there and he could get the play and help the Buffalo Bills offense a lot. But his run game is what he's really known for, because the running back, he stood out and he won MVP, which is rare. It is rare to do that here, ladies and gentlemen, because nowadays it's the quarterback award. Now, the last time a running back won the award was Adrian Peterson. Then, of course, before it was Emmitt Smith. But Thurman Thomas, highly underappreciated player. I don't think he gets much appreciation than we just say. Now, Bills Mafia, I know you guys love him, but I don't think he gets appreciation compared to the NFL fans today. Now, my age, there might be some fans that know him, but if you ask a kid who the heck is Thurman Thomas, they're really not going to know who he is. But this is why I'm giving appreciation towards him, because he needs to get appreciation. And he almost didn't get drafted by the Buffalo Bills. He was taken very late in the draft, from what I remember. And that was pretty interesting to see of how great he was to get fallen all the way down in the draft order. So very appreciated. And he has to get put on this list here, ladies and gentlemen. Has to get put on this list here. Next player list, yes, we're going to be talking about OJ Simpson now, nicknamed Juice. That was his nickname because of OJ, Orange Juice. Played 9 seasons for the Buffalo Bills. Now, we know what happened off the field. Not great, but before that happened, he was a great player on the field. He won an MVP. He won an Offensive Player of the Year 1 time for each of them. 5 first-team All-Pros, pretty great to see. 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time rushing yards leader, 2-time rushing TDs leader, 1-time scoring leader, made the Bills Wall of Fame. And he's also Hall of Fame here, ladies and gentlemen. They give you his stats real quick. He had 10,183 rushing yards, 57 rushing TDs, and 12,107 total yards here, ladies, for total scrimmage yards. What stands out to me about O.J. Simpson? I'm not going to talk about the field. Of course, he's known for his case, but I'm not going to talk about that. He's known for his speed and his looseness. You give him the ball, he runs all day with it, and he jukes out other guys, like I mentioned with Thurman Thomas, or trying to break tackles like Andre Reed did. Very good at that. Very good at that. So I have to give appreciation to him. And he did get help on his offensive lineman to Joe Delamier. He definitely helped them out. So got to give praise to O.J. Simpson and shout out to Joe Delamier as my honorable mention. Next on our list, NFL fans should know this guy, and that is Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith played 15 seasons for the Buffalo Bills. He's a 2-time defensive player of the year. 8 first-team All-Pros. 8. Ridiculous. Ridiculous to see that. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, 8. 8, ladies and gentlemen. 2 second-team All-Pros. I don't know why he got 2 second-team All-Pros. Maybe it's because of Reggie White being that, because that was a big fiasco back in the day, folks, because it was the battle between who is the greatest pass rusher of all time, which has always been Bruce Smith. Now, of course, people argue Lawrence Taylor, but in that era, it was Bruce Smith versus Reggie White. So that might be the case of why he got those second-team All-Pros here on the show. 11-time Pro Bowler, 2-time forced fumbles co-leader, made the Buffalo Bills Wall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame, of course, ladies and gentlemen. Never won a Super Bowl, which is the interesting fact about Bruce Smith and the rest of these guys here on this list. They never won a Super Bowl. His stats here, folks, 1,225 tackles. He was a tackle machine. But what he's more well known for is his sacks. He has the most sacks in NFL history all time, which is 200 to be exact here, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting fact about Bruce Smith, he was the 5th player to record a Super Bowl safety. That is pretty rare to do. Even though they didn't win the Super Bowl, that's pretty rare to do in the Super Bowl game. Now, another thing that also stands out to me is he was a very good actor in the Little Giants movie, for that football movie. I'd like to give a shout out to him on that. Great acting, of course, in that. But what he's more well known for is his 360 move. He's a smart player and tough. He was very good, like Reggie White, like with the turn move, with the spin move. He was very good in getting after the quarterback. Very good, as stands out to me. And he was one of the most impactful players in his game. And in that era, too, folks, of trying to stop when he had to go face the Cowboys or go face the Giants. He was a relentless player, and offensive line were scared of him. They couldn't take on Bruce Smith because Bruce Smith set the edge and set the tone on the field for those offensive linemen, and he dominated the game. One of the most dominating players of his era and position of all time. Got to give a shout out to Bruce Smith here, ladies and gentlemen. Bruce Smith has to be put on this list here, ladies and gentlemen. Last player here on this list before we get to my ultimate Bills GOAT is Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly played 11 seasons with the Buffalo Bills. He's a Hall of Famer, 1-time first-team All-Pro, 1-time second-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, 1-time. He's a 1-time passing TDs and passing rating leader, 1-time completion percentage leader in the Bills Wall of Fame. Guys, retired by the Buffalo Bills, number 12. Stats here, folks. He had 60.1 completion percentage, 35,467 passing yards, 237 passing TDs, 175 interceptions, and 84.4 passer rating here, ladies and gentlemen. What stands out to me about Jim Kelly is he was one of the toughest signal callers of like calling the plays, like at the line of scrimmage of like, you might be hearing like the head coach may call the play, but he would call the audibles. He would be very well known for that, like calling the play down the line. Like you see, like, let's say, for example, in practice, Bruce Smith, he's calling out Bruce Smith's number because he's seeing where's Bruce Smith attacking. And he's saying, hey, watch out for the Bruce Smith here. He's coming out this age here. Like, he was very good at signal calling out guys right here and there. That stands out to me about Jim Kelly. But he also thought, like, his thinking process was outstanding. To me, that reminds me of like Aaron Rodgers. He was like the ultimate chess player. Like he thought of like moves way ahead than like most players thought, like just one play at a time. Jim Kelly was like 3 plays ahead. He thought like right away. He was faster, like thinking process than his legs. He wasn't much of a strong runner, like as a quarterback, but his thinking process was outstanding. And he ran the Bills like no huddle K gun offense, which in that particular offense is outstanding because every play that he do, so like let's say they run the ball to Thurman Thomas, like for 3 yards. They get right up to the scrimmage yard and go quick and fast. That's the outstanding thing with the Buffalo Bills. They would never like take their time. Like nowadays, you see that. Like if you go watch the Josh Allen Buffalo Bills versus the Patrick Mahomes, they take their time as long as they can to make it like a long stalling chess match. Whereas Jim Kelly, he would make the move like boop, 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 take your bishop, take your rook, take out the queen, boom. That's what stands out to me at Jim Kelly is that, and he's always ahead of time. So Jim Kelly has to get appreciation here. He off the field, unbelievable to see what he's gone through off the field, and he's getting better, folks. So that's great to see. But Jim Kelly has to get put on this list here. Has to be put on this list here. Now we get to my ultimate Bills GOAT here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not putting O.J. Simpson here, despite the achievements and stats. I just can't put him there. I just really can't. Like he doesn't. When I think of the Buffalo Bills, he has not put me there. Now, guys, I think that put me there is Bruce Smith and Jim Kelly are the two main guys. I think Thurman Thomas is underrated, but I think Jim Kelly and Bruce Smith dominated in their position. And Jim Kelly, more of the off-field, he was very helpful in the community too. Same thing with Bruce Smith. Those two guys remind me of the Buffalo Bills. Despite them not winning a Super Bowl, which they should have won in those 3 years, 4 years in a row here, ladies and gentlemen, not great to see. But Jim Kelly, I always think of his process thinking, like watching his game always reminds me of like guys that played today. That's outstanding to me. But to me, the ultimate Bills GOAT here is Bruce Smith. What he did on the field is ridiculous to me. I mean, you get the 8 first team all pros, you get a 2-time defensive player, and this like outstanding stats when you have the most sacks of all time. Now I know, of course, that's with the other teams he's played for, but he was mostly known for the Buffalo Bill, and that's ridiculous to see. So got to give appreciation to him. He's an outstanding player and one of the greatest players of all time, and one of the best players in his era, especially too. But has to get appreciation here, and is my ultimate Bills GOAT here, ladies and gentlemen. But let me know what you think in the chat. Do you think Bruce Smith is the Bills GOAT? Do you think it's Jim Kelly? O.J. Simpson, you want to throw out there, people? I like to hear in the chat. But let me know what you think of the chat here, folks. Who is your Bills GOAT here? Love to hear it. But that's a wrap for this video, folks. We'll see you next time. And we move on to the dynasties that everyone hates, the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs here, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day.